Gallon old engine. Once upon a time, Duncan is a very cross. He worst of all was in a Ford car. And he was in darkness with his number line. One day, the engines were in telephone call Peter Sam. There was in a Minnesota railway at once. Look at you calling? Asked Reneus. So do I. Puff Skarloey was in a story. Hello? The engines was in puzzle. Yes, said Skarloey, and now it all began. A Minnesota railway, a rainbow days in a rural town near to a rainy day. A couple more of us here for debut engines to play with the Duke the Lost engine. Are you sure at the Minnesota railway? Peter Sam called. 12 months ago, said Skarloey, now in a few days, and I know that is. At Minnesota railway at once, Smudger was in a new engine called Jim and Tim. I must be a next station. He thought the passengers are waiting. Said that other engines. What happened with you? He thought, and I have to go out for a fleshing. You are living at house with this schedule to running to railway, said Peter Sam. This is the Minnesota Railway, puffed Skarloey and his dream. One wet and rainy afternoon, Jim and Tim was in a speeding along slower into the place of the Minnesota Railway. Tim was in contact today with the fuel on Jim Street and friends of cars in a Minnesota Railway home track. That us right, Jim, puffed Tim, and he steamed away to the Duke station. And he drifting car. And Jim and Tim was. But he was embraced. Oh, my cramp, cried Tim. Are you sure, Tim? Jim said, now is on a scene and called 6 o'clock. I'll do it, puffed Jim to throttle. Can you fix it? Jim snorted. Soon he was in. Jim and Tim were in all together, their friends. Look at the drivers, he thought. Thank you. Jim smiled as they pulled togetherness of the throttle on. And he was wait on a Minnesota rainy season. But I have a couple more of jugglers and rattles. Jim and Tim was in a meeting and the Minnesota field was included with his railway. A railroad in a main line, 2 engines was in surrounding towns. Street was in on no fire. Jim was in a Tim place of rebuilt this coming soon. Now, Jim, is there any news on my Tim's last chance? Please like an Arlesdale station on the mainline side of the news. Minnesota Railway. Duke was in a station at last, tired but triumphant. Jim and Tim is on a platform. Wow, said Duke. You the Ballantrae old engines on Minnesota Railway? Yes, that is, said Jim. Yon fuel is on a 200,000 houses on a railways on narrowly. Time to go home now, puffed him happily, and stayed home for tonight. All they engines was in smile. They happy, and he 5.30 p.m. to be on Minnesota Railway, and they will also provide. The engines were in different games, and you were a very valuable member to be involved with the good. So they coming bud, he thought. This is on my list of 50 cars in a yards, said Duncan hopefully. The engines was in surprise. A cable on his open up or up a new look. It's a Jim and Tim, Skarloey said. All they engines were in whistled and cheering at the crowd cheers. Now I did, he said. Gallon old engines was a good thing to so muchness. Thank you, Reneus puffed, and he was very good to more tin Freightliners.